all of my stockings from 1/2 inch sanded interior plywood using my jigsaw. I'm going to apply a coat of glaze to each of the stockings, and I'm staggering the direction that they go in. So some will face left and some will face right. Now that they're all stained and dried, I'm going to paint them white. I've watered down my white paint so it's more like a wash. I am ready to start the lettering and the words on my 5 wooden stockings, and I decided to do tidings of comfort and joy. You could do names. There are so many things that you could do. So I'm using the IOD typesetting stamp. It's a 2-sheet stamp set, and it has the uppercase, lowercase letters and the numbers. So this is a really great stamp set. Another stamp set you could use, and this is really good if you're short on space, is the farmhand stamp set. That's another really good one. But I'm going to be using a first generation IOD stamp on mine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to space out where I want tidings to be. And I'm going to kind of follow the contour of the stocking. So when you have a letter repeat, what you want to do is place it as if you're spelling it out, then leave the room there, put the letter in the next position. And you're doing this so that you can read it. So that's what I'm going to do for tidings. So it's going to be a little wonky. Slide it over just a bit. And then I'm going to take my thin mount, and I have them in all different sizes. So this one I've cut into thirds. And once I get it spaced, I'm going to take my thin mount and I'm going to push it on there. Now my stamps are very, very loved. What you'll find is sometimes what you're going to want to do is wipe off the back of the letter with a baby wipe, and that will ensure adhesion. I've got some black paint and my IOD brayer, and I want to get a decent coating with no drips. And then I'm just going to roll it over my letters. Now again, my letters are very much loved, so I might have some shifting. I might have one fall off, but it's all good. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put it in place. And now you want to press it without shifting your thin mount. And I'm not looking for a great impression. I'm going to end up sanding this as well. So I'm going to lift it up, and now I need to repeat that I. So if it's more than one letter, I'll put it in place and use the thin mount again, but this is just one letter. So I'll just get paint on it and just kind of guesstimate where it goes. The reason I don't like to do this is it wants to stick to my fingers and that can cause shifting. So that's tidings. And now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm using that exact same stamp. And now we're going to go to comfort. And this is where I'm using that first generation stamp. So it is a small script. And you line it up very much the same way that you do swoosh. So the F is going to dictate about where I want it to go because I need room for the F. So it's going to go, and I'm going to pull the O out and move it because it's going to go there. And then the R, and then the T. So that's about where comfort would be. And actually, I'm going to move it. Placement to me matters. So I want to move it so it's more in the heel portion. And I'm not gonna worry too much about that. And you overlap just a little bit. So I like that placement. And with these swooshy type letters, you pull out every other letter. So I'm gonna have to pull out the F. You know what, now I know I can leave the O. So I'll put the O there, pull out the F. The R is gonna go there, and the T will go there. Because you're gonna overlap these a little bit, I'm gonna use the same thin mount. And the letters are gonna stick great. I haven't used this. And now I'm gonna do the paint. And if you get a little bit on the background like this, a lot of times it won't even hit your surface, but I do like to wipe it off. That looks a little bit dry there. And I know that I want the T to kind of be in the heel. Again, I'm not worried about a real distinct impression. So because I'm reusing the O, I'm going to wipe that off with my baby wipe because I don't want the black paint to go over. So that's going to go like that. And the F is going to line up there. And the R, I'm going to overlap that little tail and then connect to the T. So you can see how helpful the thin mount is. You can always use the plastic sheet that goes over the top of your stamps as well. You want to be careful. This is not a point where you would like them to fall off. And you line swoosh up the same way. So there's comfort. So I have so far tidings of comfort. So now I'm going to do and I'm going to go back to my typesetting stamp. And maybe I'll put it at that part. That'll be fun. I'm going to put it right up there. And now I'm going to do Joy back in the script. I am using the new winter adornment stamp, and you are seeing me open it for the very first time. I am so excited. There are so many things that you could do with this next step, and I'm leaning toward using ink because I want it to look different than the letters that I stamped. And I think I may use stone gray ink, but you could use red, green, you could use paint, you know, whatever speaks to you. So we have so many beautiful options on here. We have poinsettias, there's a Christmas rose, there's greenery. So I'm ready to go with the first one. I have just re-inked my IOD ink pad with my stone gray ink in it. You want to store them upside down. That keeps your ink at the surface. It doesn't absorb into the sponge. But I really want my sentiments to stand out. So, and I'd like to mention that when you're kind of stumped as to what designs do you want to do, you know, they're a beautiful stamp, but how do I assemble it? Always look on the back of the IOD packaging. Sally and Josie give you so many great ideas. So this is configured in a way that you can make a wreath, but then you have all those extra pieces. So this is just super helpful to look at the back of the packaging. So I know that where I've got the words, I kind of want to stay away from that. So with this being a stocking, I think I like this, and I might bring some down into here, but I'm going to use this poinsettia section. And here's a helpful hint. So what I like to do is I want a good impression, and I'm trying to decide if I may want to go up higher like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll turn this so you can see the whole thing. So when I want a real deep impression with ink, what I'll do is I will ink up my stamp, and stone gray is my favorite ink, but it's not like black where you can tell that it's on there. So put it in your stamp pad face down, and then I'll offload it on a sheet of paper. So I'll just stamp it right here. And that way, when I reload it, there's already some ink on there, and I'll get a more definitive impression. So I'm just going to load it back up, put it in my stamp pad, and I left a little bit of a margin, and I'm going to line that up. I'm going to take a paper towel and smooth that out. And all of this is going to be heavily sanded yet. But isn't that gorgeous? Now I'm going to want to do a little bit into this area as well. So I might bring just this portion here. I'm lying. I'm going to do it right here, right along that curve. And I'm going to do the same thing. So that's the first one. That's tidings. If afterwards I want to go in, actually like, you know, like right here, I think I want to do a little bit. I want to stay in the same theme with the evergreen. So I think I'll just use a portion of this stamp and go in here. right with that section. And when I go in with the sandpaper, this will take on a totally different look. And these all need to get holes yet too. So that'll be the next thing that we'll do. We'll be out in my garage sanding. I'm using a flat sealer. And here we have, and they're all a little bit of a different shape, a different design.